I'm Chris Miller.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Higher yields on U.S. Treasuries and profit-taking are contributing to a sell-off on Wall Street. Mortgage rates have inched up for the first time in a month. The Mortgage Bankers Association says its average for a 30-year fixed mortgage rose to 7.05% for the week ending May 24th. Wall Street is also looking at merger news. ConocoPhillips is buying Marathon Oil, and Merck is buying iBiotech, a company that makes treatments for eye diseases. Dick's Sporting Goods shares are on track for their best day in more than 3 years. Shares are up more than 15% after its better-than-expected earnings, and Dick's says it's seeing continued robust demand, so it is raising its full-year outlook. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosolda, invested in you.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Chris Foster. The jury in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York City is starting deliberations now after receiving their instructions from Judge Juan Merchan.
He told them the burden of proof is on the people, meaning the prosecutors, and that they should draw no inference from the fact that the defendant, former President Trump, did not testify in his own behalf. Likewise, he told them to set aside any personal opinions or bias against Trump and focus only on the evidence.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the courthouse. President Biden campaigns in Philadelphia today, his 7th trip to Pennsylvania this year.
He and Vice President Harris will launch Black Voters for Biden-Harris at a campaign rally at a Philadelphia school. The president not taking for granted black voters, once considered an assured base.
Fox's Gary Baumgarten. America's listening to Fox News.
In the News Center, I'm Stephen Stone. Brian Hester has been the Chester County Administrator for over a year now, but he's trying to help reshape the county from previous issues. It's an evolving county, yet it's still trying to rid itself of the dark cloud or reputation surrounding it from previous local leaders. So for those who may have any preconceived notions about the county, what's Hester's message?
The elephant in the room is Chester went through some really tough times several years ago with the previous sheriff, with the previous, under a supervisor form of government, the previous county supervisor. Of course, we're an administrative form of government now. Bad things like that stick in people's head. We got a fantastic sheriff that the governor appointed. He was reelected. He's running unopposed again this time in Max Dorsey. And then I think we've done a really good, we've got a strong council. We've got a very involved council. We've got a council that's very conscientious about decisions that are made. And I think that we've restructured. We've built a staff. We've brought in some very high caliber leaders.
Hester adds that the people they brought in to lead are originally from Chester but had high-ranking jobs in other places.
WRHI Rock Hill, W261CY Rock Hill. Good Pharmacy, Rock Hill's hometown pharmacy for over 60 years. Camden Avenue at Ebenezer Road. Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now here's Manning Kimmel broadcasting live from Substation 2 on Cherry Road in Rock Hill with Straight Talk, selected by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association as the state's top public affairs program.
And a good afternoon. Welcome into Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop for another edition of our Straight Talk program presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Our thanks to our co-sponsor today, Anderson Griggs Investments in Old Town Rock Hill. Common sense, intelligent advice for conservative investors. You can find out more online at andersongriggs.com. And our thanks to Good Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy, Ebenezer Road at Camden Avenue in Rock Hill. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that I think has turned out to be pretty successful. It's the homeless court at Pathways. The lady who put this all together is right across from me, Municipal Court Judge Jane Modla, and she's brought with her able-bodied prosecutor, city solicitor, whatever the right terminology is, a gentleman by the name of Shannon Dieter, who we're trying to convince to pick up stakes and move on down here to Rock Hill, South Carolina. Don't you think that'd be a smart thing to do?
Yeah, I'd love to, but unfortunately I'm trapped in Charlotte right now, so.
I love it the way he puts it, trapped.
Bought a house.
Bought a house.
That's pretty much the situation.
That's pretty much.
I have a wife.
Yeah.
And she says we're going to stay here.
Yeah.
She's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, Judge, let's start off with you. Tell everybody a little bit about your background, if you will.
So I'm from Rockingham, North Carolina, and a Tar Heel born and bred graduate from UNC Chapel Hill.
Ooh.
With an English degree, so consequently I joined Peace Corps, and I lived in Africa for 3 years in Zaire, in the Congo. In when I was 29, I went to law school, South Carolina, and that's where I met Jake, my husband, and we have lived in Rock Hill ever since we graduated. Got married the day after.
How about that?
Yeah.
And you've been a
have
judge
three
how long?
girls, and I got one in law school in South Carolina.
Woohoo!
Been a judge for the city of Rock Hill for 25 years.
Now, when you say municipal court, define that in terms of all these other court systems we have. You handle what kinds of cases?
Strictly criminal. So the way it works in South Carolina, every town that has a police department generally has a municipal court. And so all the cases made by the city police come through our court. We sign all the arrest warrants, the search warrants. When an arrest is made, we set the bonds, and then my court tries all the misdemeanors, the traffic cases and the misdemeanors, and all the other cases we send to the Moss Justice Center in York, where the felonies are tried.
Okay. Shannon, now's your chance. Tell everybody a little bit about Shannon Dieter.
Yes, my name's Shannon. I'm from Georgetown, South Carolina, which I hear is going through a revitalization lately, especially on Front Street, so that's good news. I'm a Gamecock. I went to USC for undergraduate and then went to USC for law school, where I met my now wife. The
one that keeps you in Charlotte.
Yeah, the one that keeps me in Charlotte. I give people ask me for advice sometimes about going to law school, and I tell everyone I went to law school for my MR degree. I was looking to get married, and I tell people that's not a good reason to go to law school. You should go because you want to become a lawyer. But yeah, right now I live with my wife in Charlotte and commute down here to work in the city solicitor's office for Rock Hill. So,
aren't you lucky you're not fighting the traffic?
Yes, well I do. Not as bad going the other way, but the 77 is terrible. We all know that.
Yeah, so. Right. You know what? My dad was an attorney, and he used to tell me that the finest education that you could ever get is to get a law degree, whether you use it or not. And there's many lawyers out there with degrees who are not practicing law, True. As there are who are practicing law. True. But it gives you a really great foundation about how this system we all live in operates. So good for you all. Okay, so we're here to talk about the homeless court, and your job with the solicitor's office is what, Shannon?
I'm an assistant city solicitor, so I handle cases like Judge Modla said, misdemeanors that occur within the city of Rock Hill. If those defendants request jury trials, then those files come to my office and I handle those cases.
So if I get a traffic ticket and I'm determined that I'm right, you're going to be prosecuting against me. Is that right?
I actually had a jury trial for running a red light just a month ago or so. So, yes, we will take it to trial.
And the judge is going to say to me, Manning, you're stupid. Just pay the fine and be done with it.
Yeah, that's my thinking on it, but some people really want to go to trial. So
I got you. All right, let's talk about the homeless court, Judge. This is a creation that has your name all over it. You brought it to Rock Hill. You brought it to Pathways. Tell everybody who's never heard of this thing what it's all about.
Well, I didn't invent homeless court, of course. It started in California when the lawyers talked to the homeless. They found that legal problems kept them on the street more than anything else, and they were talking to veterans at the time that were homeless in the 90s, in the late 80s. And so they started homeless court, and then Nelson Mullins has a real heart for the homeless. Nelson Mullins is a law firm in Columbia because one of their partners had been homeless as a child. Mm-hmm. So they took it up as pro bono. George Cauthen did. He wasn't the one, but he did. And so they helped Nelson Mullins start homeless courts in South Carolina, and the South Carolina Legal Magazine came across my desk, and the cover story was about homeless courts. And homeless courts are handled by the city courts, by the municipal courts. And what it is, it's a volunteer court session, basically, for somebody who is homeless or about to be homeless or has recently become homeless. And the purpose is to take the court to the homeless to see what we can do to help them get off the street. And what keeps many homeless on the street is the fact that they are homeless. They're committing petty crimes in the first place. Panhandling, soliciting, shoplifting, public disorderly intoxication, public disorderly conduct. These misdemeanors often keep people from getting housing, and they keep people from getting jobs. And you can come to homeless court. If you are working to get yourself off the street, you get nominated by a service provider. So we're talking about the social workers that you are working with to get yourself straightened out so you can get off the street and get a job. They'll nominate you for homeless court, and what we can do is get rid of that criminal record, frankly. And we have an order from the Supreme Court that gives us permission to do that. If you have a history, you got convictions from my court, you've got bench warrants maybe, you've got fines that you owe, we can get rid of all that. We can open up cases, get them dismissed and expunged off your record if you're doing the right thing.
But the key is doing the right thing. You have to be nominated, and somebody has to vouch for you.
Yes.
That you're really
Yes.
trying to get yourself out of the hole.
Yes.
But you can't move forward because you've got this series of misdemeanors on your record.
True.
And so you brought the homeless court to Pathways. Why didn't you just do it in your regular court?
Okay, well, the whole point in homeless court is to take the court to the homeless so there's no fear. So there's no fear and trembling of being in the courtroom. And you don't have to worry about transportation and clothes, cleanliness, anything else. So that's one of the biggest goals of the homeless court is you take the court to the homeless. Well, when I saw homeless court existed in South Carolina and it came to my attention, I knew we had Pathways. We had a place for one-stop shopping for the homeless like they have in Columbia. My friend helped found that place, and she, Laura Holiday, she's very big into the homeless, and was on the board. And she talked about Pathways all the time. And I saw this advertisement for homeless court in this magazine about it, and I'm like, well, I am the city judge, and we have a home for the homeless called Pathways. Oh, man, maybe I better do something.
So it got in your head, and the squirrel started working, and the next thing you know, you put up. Now, did you have to go to the court to say I want to do this? Create
well,
this?
I am the court, but the court is run. It's actually the city council's court and the mayor. So I went and visited down in Columbia. I talked to those lawyers. I went through. I visited Transitions down there in their homeless court, and I met with them, and they agreed to sponsor me to help with getting the order from the Supreme Court, South Carolina, and then I had to go in front of city council. So I said, I got a proposition, and it's free, and it's easy.
There's a key word, free.
That's exactly what they said, man. Free and easy, and they're like rolling their eyes. There's nothing free and easy, ha, 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 ha. I said, well, you already paid for the judge, you already paid for the city solicitors, you already paid for a public defender, and it's going to be maybe 1 or 2 hours a month out of my day.
Right.
I just need to go to Pathways, set up court, take the lawyers with me, and the service providers and the defendants, they're doing all the work. We're just listening.
So it's been operational now for what, a year?
A year.
A year.
Yeah, a year and 2 months, I guess.
A year and 2 months. So, Shannon, how do you roll into this homeless court? What's your job?
So I happened to get my now job as an assistant city solicitor around the time homeless court started getting off the ground. So I've been with it since it started rolling. So my role there is similar to the judge and the public defender. We listen to people. I evaluate applications when they come in. So as you were saying, service providers will put forth candidates they think would be good fits for homeless court. They'll typically write me something talking about the rehab they might be in, or the vocational training they're engaged in, or how long they've been engaged with the service provider. And so I'll read the service provider's information, look at their rap sheets, their city-specific rap sheets, and evaluate the candidate as a whole, and either move to accept or reject them from the program.
He's the gatekeeper.
He's the gatekeeper, okay. So do you meet as the gatekeeper with these people after you reviewed the file?
We tend to let the public defender do all the talking to the actual clients.
Okay.
So not especially, but I'll talk to the public defender who relays things to me.
So the social worker takes it to the public defender, and the public defender brings it to you?
Yes.
All right. Now, this has been operational for a year. Roughly how many cases are you handling, Judge, on a monthly basis?
Well, when we went through training for a whole year, they said you want about 5 cases on your docket a month. We've had anywhere from 5 to 11 to 12 a month. I've had, you want some statistics?
Sure, please.
All right, so our biggest candidates come from Bethel Men's Shelter, from the Haven, from Catawba Mental Health, women from the Life House. And I talked to, Bethel said they had 25 clients participate, 4 women, 21 men. They had 5 graduates from the Rock Hill Homeless Court. And in addition, they had 7 individuals enter housing while in the program or after completing the program. So that's from the Bethel Men's Shelter. From the Haven said they had 4 graduates from the program, and all now have permanent housing.
And that's the key right there.
That's the key.
That makes all this worthwhile. That's 4 people that are, becoming productive members of the community.
Right.
Which is good.
Jobs, of course, but the housing is.
So after a year, have you had any of those people who you were able to help with this thing just, grab you somewhere and just say, I just want to thank you for what you did because it helped me get straightened out? You're chuckling.
I try not to get grabbed, but I do.
Pulled aside.
There was our very first graduate, Curtis, from the Haven, and he got housing, and my church is instrumental in the Haven, and I did have to speak at church about it, and there was a big write-up about Curtis and his moving into his house, and,
right.
And that was a big deal to everybody that day. But I haven't been grabbed on the street yet.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, and if I remember him correctly, he was another example of a great candidate where some crimes had been, petty crimes had been committed years ago, and he hadn't offended anywhere from 10 years plus. Yeah. And those are exactly the kind of people we're trying to help, people that either their recent infractions are directly related to their homelessness, or they are homeless because of old infractions, and there's nothing recent on the record. So he was a great example of what I call the A-plus candidate that we sometimes get in homeless court.
Mary was another one. She had a criminal domestic violence charge on her record. Now, we can't, if it's violent, we can't erase it, but it got null-prossed by the prosecutor 20 years ago. Null-prossed with the right to restore. So it was never off her record. So when she applied for housing authority, they could see it. That kept her from getting housing. So we were able to help her,
But in a case like that, do you have to go to somewhere else to get the thing expunged from the record?
Oh, well, since it was in my court, I didn't have to. Okay. Now, we're finding that there are a lot of people that have criminal histories that we can't help. The homeless court can't help. But let me tell you what has evolved. South Carolina Legal Aid has agreed to come to homeless court, and they are there every month. Jamie Bell's the director. Kevin Brackett's office has 2 women that help out with expungements. They are involved every month. And what they do for us is they'll look at the rap sheets, and they can tell you, they can do a lot of things. Legal Aid can help with all the civil issues that I can't help with. I can only help with criminal issues that are misdemeanors. So what we're advertising now is, if there is any legal issue keeping you on the street, out of housing or out of a job, you got any legal problem, come to homeless court, and we're gonna see what we can do. We'll direct you in the right direction, if nothing else. So legal aid can help people get driver's license. They can help people get Social Security cards. They can help people get benefits. disability. They can give you a free lawyer if you're close to eviction. They can do all that for you. The Circuit Solicitor's Office that handles other expungements of felonies, they can get those off your record, or they can help you apply to get those off your record, or they can tell us if you are a candidate for getting those off your record. So even though we couldn't in homeless court, we can get them serviced by applying to expungement at the Circuit Solicitor or going through legal services to get them. We're finding rap sheets with non-conviction, 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 over and over and over. That ought to be off their record. If you see it, you're going to use it against somebody. You just don't help yourself. But it shouldn't be there. Some drug charges, 30 years ago, and I got people that are, been on the street.
50 years ago.
50 years ago. Marijuana was a felony. That can come off your record. I mean, there are a lot of things that can come off your record, but you don't know, and you have to go through the process. So the other thing we're finding, besides having these folks helping us, is that, you need money for some of these expungements. Well, there's a rainy day fund. I've got people wanting to give money to homeless court. I've got contact down in Columbia where the homeless court people have set up a rainy day fund, and I've met with people in the city that work for the city about setting up a rainy day fund so that we can help get some of those expungements that are going to cost off the records.
So homeless court is now 2.0. It's grown from what you initially put in there to handle small misdemeanors to something that can handle a criminal situation.
Maybe so.
Isn't that something? Well, good for you.
Maybe so. And George Compton, who started all these homeless courts, helped start them in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach and Charleston. He said, your homeless court in 2023 and your homeless court in 2027 aren't going to look just alike. It can morph, it can grow. I've had a sheriff's deputy who was really interested in having a homeless court and a magistrate's courts. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, Kevin Brackett puts me in touch with the DA in Charlotte, Merriweather, the DA, the district attorney from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's coming down here to find out about homeless court. Last week, we had Gaston County, we had Human Services, 3 women from Human Services in Gaston County, North Carolina, come down. They called, and they came down and visited and observed homeless court in Rock Hill, and to see what it's all about and see if it's something that they can use in their own communities. So.
Boy, oh boy, that's exciting. That really is exciting. Good for you. All right, we got to take our mid-program break. Remind everybody that you are listening to Straight Talk, live from Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop. Presented by Founders Federal Credit Union, Relax Here with Founders, and by Anderson Griggs Investments in Old Town Rock Hill. Common sense, intelligent advice for conservative investors online at andersongriggs.com. And our thanks to Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care. You can find out more about them online at PiedmontMedicalCenter.com. All right, Shannon, this is a chance for you to shine brightly. We do fresh subs and salads here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop. There is a way we do them. It's in the white letters. You're a newbie, so you get to join in. At the count of 3, how do we do it? 1, 2, 3.
Slice, garden.
Oh, well, not too bad. Back after these words.
If it's 12:30, it's Straight Talk on WRHI and CN2.
There are lots of reasons why people like dining at Substation 2.
Hit the spot, definitely. Friends are great, and the company's great, and the food is fantastic. Bread's fresh, and they make my special for me every day.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
Our common sense investing is not designed to take your life savings, roll the dice, and make you rich. We design a plan to keep the standard of living you have grown accustomed to the same throughout your retirement, be it 20, 30, or even 40 more years. Anderson Griggs Investments, 324-5044, or online at andersongriggs.com.
Emergency care close to home. The team at Piedmont Medical Center has the advanced training to handle your medical emergencies, and we're making it easier for you to access care every day. For non-life-threatening problems, online ER check-in is available at all our emergency room locations. meaning less waiting room time, more peace of mind. Simply visit PiedmontMedicalCenter.com, pick a time you want to be seen, and then wait at home while we hold your place. For life-threatening emergencies, call 911. Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care.
When disaster strikes, one of the most important things is getting life back to normal. A little compassion can go a long way. Paul Davis is here for you. Paul Davis is committed to handling any property damage with exceptional care because what we do is about more than property. It's about people. We have the training and expertise necessary to completely restore your property fast. For all your cleanup and restoration needs, call the experts at Paul Davis Restoration at 329-1140 or find us online at pauldavisrockhill.com.
Relax with a discounted mortgage rate from Founders Federal Credit Union without paying for discount points. For a limited time, don't pay the 1% fee and get the lower rate. And don't forget, Founders never charges for PMI or private mortgage insurance. Unlock your dream home with a great rate and a Founders expert to guide you through the home financing process. Stop by a convenient office location or apply on Founders online by May 31st to lock in your lower rate. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender.
Have you ever wondered why so many people enjoy dining at Substation 2?
Good fresh food, even fresher than Subway, and it's also on the paleo diet.
I like the people, I like the food, and being picked on.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road, across from Winthrop.
Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders.
And back we are here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop, talking with Municipal Court Judge Jane Modla and her able-bodied assistant from the Rock Hill City Solicitor's Office, Shannon Dieter. Still trying to get Shannon to relocate down here to Rock Hill so he doesn't have to fight the traffic, but that's okay. We'll do that later. So, with all this good news about what's happening with the homeless court, I got to ask you, have there been, I don't want to say any setbacks, but anything that you see that needs to be done that is not happening the way you'd like it to happen? I mean, you're a year into this now. You've had sessions every month for a year.
Well, I worry every day about people coming to homeless court. Are we going to have new candidates every month? And so we get out and try to advertise and try to have been to Bethel, during dinner to advertise. I've been to the Haven during dinner to advertise and try to spread the word to let people know there's nothing to be afraid of, but come to court if you got any legal issue. I always worry about that. I worry about it dropping off. I just want it to continue and people to participate. You would think that you would have enough word of mouth going on out there amongst the homeless community. Yeah. Well, it's spreading and it's getting out there, and we have, but the homeless community changes also. The good news is that the service providers have been the same ones for this whole year and more than a year. Mm-hmm. And evidently that can be, they're social workers, and it's hard work, and the continuity there has really been very helpful for us, because absolutely. They know us, we know them, and they're able to talk to their clients and say, you got nothing to worry about. Yeah. They're gonna do everything they can to help you out. So I have been to one of the homeless court sessions. Matter of fact, I think it was the very first one. And it's just like court. I mean, you're wearing your robes. Yeah. You got people separated, prosecution's here, defense is over here, whatever. And you conducted exactly the way you do downtown, correct? Sort of. Yeah.
Not exactly, but close.
Well, take me through.
I mean, we don't have a docket, and we're not. We have a docket, but we're not handling any new charges. Right. 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 Got that. And you've taken away the intimidation factor. That's the point. Yeah. But they also understand that you're a judge because you got the robe on, right? Yeah. Okay. But I'm not going to hurt you. That's right. Today. That's one way to put it. So how do you, Shannon, how do you prepare for these cases? I mean, are they pretty much routine? Yeah.
I've been, since I've been here from the near the beginning, I've been able to help sort of establish procedures and standards, not necessarily written down, but just sort of best practices. In criminal justice work, you try to treat everybody the same, and so you try to create standards. And so, yeah, when I evaluate a case, I'm looking for, like I said earlier, maybe a lack of time where they to the present where they haven't committed anything, or perhaps a 2-year period I can point to where I said, oh, they were clearly homeless then because of the type of charges they were getting. And I look for, on the other side of that, I look for, I guess you could say, bad charges. And depending on those types of charges, that can often be what makes a yes or no on whether they get into homeless court.
So what happens, Judge, if you have assisted somebody and you've taken these charges off their record, and a month or two later, they're back because they've done some of the stupid things that they had done before?
Yeah. Well, they're going forward with that charge, and they can have a trial by judge or a trial by jury, and they have the right to have a lawyer, but they're not going back into homeless court.
So they understand. I mean, they understand this. This is like a get-out-of-jail card one time.
One time. But what seems to be happening is that we've got some people that are going to jail. They're getting arrested, and they're going to jail. They don't have anything to do with homeless court, okay, on a daily basis. And they're homeless, and they're trespassing over and over and over at the hospital, at the hotel, at somebody's locker, and they're just going to jail, and they're staying in jail, and they're doing their 30 days, and they're getting out, coming back, getting out, and most of that is mental illness.
Right.
Those are people that we see daily basis in the real courtroom and in the jail. The ones I'm seeing over at homeless court that are coming through pathways aren't ones that we're seeing on a daily basis over at the jail, for the most part.
Yeah, we could do
We've had a few.
We've done a number of programs on mental illness.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yes.
it's behind a lot of what's going on out there, no
Yes.
question about it. So next steps are just to keep on keeping on, I guess, trying to get the word out there, keep the word going out there. Obviously, the legal community knows about it,
Yes.
particularly those who are in the solicitor's office, prosecutors like yourself.
We
And-
did a CLE for the whole York County Bar.
Oh, good.
On it, yeah.
Good,
yeah.
good.
And we have to remember, homeless court, it's still a fairly newer idea. And as cities in South Carolina get their own homeless courts, I think the word will spread as, I suppose you could say, a brand is established, homeless court.
Well, we have run out of time. I think once you get the people down there from Charlotte and we educate them like we have to educate them all the time, the word will get out. And surely somebody up there will start talking about it, then that'll bring more attention. Judge, thank you for all that you do. Shannon, thank you for being with us today. You lived through it, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget, we do have real estate down here, and we do take people from North Carolina.
Do I get a free sandwich?
Sure. You buy a house, we'll get you a free sandwich. And that's going to wrap up our Straight Talk program live from Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop, presented by Founders Federal Credit Union, Relax Your with Founders, and by Anderson Griggs Investments in Old Town Rock Hill. Once again, we do fresh subs and salads here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop. There is a formula for the madness we do inside of here. It's in the white letters, and we're going to do it together with enthusiasm. Shannon, ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Slice, slice, slice.
Garden, garden, garden.
There you go. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Bye.
South Carolina's most honored radio station. News Talk 100.1 WRHI Rock Hill. W261CY Rock Hill. The voice of York County.
An OTS media station.
It's in their hands. Only Brady, Fox News. A New York jury deliberated